everyone, thank you for tuning in. My name is Cassandra. I'm going to take you through this flexibility flow. So this is a deep stretch yoga class. We are moving fairly slowly and mindfully, focusing on hips, hamstrings primarily, but we also have quite a few poses that will help increase flexibility through spine and shoulders, a little bit of back bending, but I would say primary focus is definitely on lower body. So a lot of really lovely hip openers. I'm not using any props in this class. However, always a good idea if you want to have a few blocks nearby, or even if you don't have blocks at home, sometimes just some couch cushions or some pillows or even blankets can make some of the poses more comfortable, but don't worry if you don't have anything, it's perfectly fine. And I would say more intermediate level. We're going to start lying down on our backs just with some knee pumps, knee circles. So you can just lower your way down, pull your knees in towards your belly, relax head and shoulders down on the mat. And I'm just gonna bring my hands on the tops of my knees. As I inhale, I'm gonna straighten the arms, moving the thighs away from me. And on the exhale, I'm just gonna pull that in. So very simple movement. See if you can completely relax your legs and your hips so that it's completely just, this movement is all being done by your arms and your lower body doesn't have to work at all. And we do this to just gently try and release the lower back. And you might feel good just continuing in this motion, or if you'd like, you can do it in a circular motion. So maybe doing clockwise first, going all the way around and up. And that can really change the sensation of the movement. Inhaling as you go away, exhaling as you pull in. And we'll do 5 more going the other way. So reversing the direction of those circles. Last one here. And we'll release. Keep your right knee in. Just let your left foot come flat to the floor. Widen your right knee towards shoulder and armpit. And you can kind of let that left thigh kind of flop over. You can choose to stay here or come into your half happy baby pose, grabbing a hold of that big right toe, stacking the ankle over the knee. And if this feels pretty good, you can also go ahead and straighten that left leg to the mat. Try to keep your heel pressing onto the floor so we're really getting into the front of our left hip, into the hip flexors. If it's too much, keep knee bent. Minimal tension in our neck, our shoulders, letting the head stay on the floor. Take one more big belly breath in here. And you can just slide that left foot in. We'll come into reclined pigeon pose. Cross your right ankle over the top of that knee. Figure 4 shape as you pull through, drawing that left knee and thigh in towards you. And sometimes it can feel good to kind of rock a little bit side to side, or you can just stay still. Let's add a hamstring stretch in this pose. So straighten the left leg and grab a hold of whatever is accessible through your calf or maybe just the back of into the hamstrings. Now go ahead and point your left foot as much as you can. Really stretch through the top of that foot, top of the ankle. Working through the fascia here. And then we'll reverse this, flex your left foot as much as possible. Try to curl those toes back. I know for me, this makes the pose a lot harder. Getting into the calf muscle, into the ankle. Let go of the hamstring stretch first. Give this one last little squeeze. And we'll bring both feet flat to the floor, just coming into bridge pose to reset the hips a little bit here before we go to the other side. Push your feet into the mat, squeeze and lift your hips up nice and high. Hug through the inner thighs, pushing into the big toes, finding a little bit more lift. And roll yourself down inch by inch, upper back, mid back, low back, and tailbone. Draw your left knee in, widen it over towards left shoulder and left armpit, and maybe you flop that right thigh down just for a little bit of a counterweight. And you can transition into your half happy baby pose on this side, either keeping that right knee bent or straightening the right leg to the mat. Try to keep your weight evenly distributed so that you're not rolling over onto that left hip and left shoulder. You might need to actively push a little bit through that right leg and right heel. Into our reclined pigeon pose, slide that right foot in, and you can guide your left ankle over that right knee. Reach through with your arms and pull it in. Just staying with this first option to begin with. I like to rock a little side to side, inviting that left hip and glute to release a little more. Making sure we're not crunching up or lifting head and shoulders off the floor. And you can add your hamstring stretch, straighten that right leg any amount, and start by pointing through your right foot as much as possible, reaching through those toes. And then reverse, flex your right foot as much as you can, pushing out through that right heel. And let's release, bending into the knee, bring both feet flat to the floor. Find your bridge pose again, push your feet into the mat, lift the pelvis all the way up, hug through the inner thighs so you're not letting your knees open up wide, push into the back of your arms. And we lower down inch by inch. Tailbone is the last to connect. Straighten your legs and just roll over onto your right hip. You're going to prop yourself up onto that right elbow underneath your shoulder for this side Sphinx pose. Think of pressing and lifting up, big side body stretch. If you'd like to go further, you can push that right hand into the mat, straightening the arm. Let yourself kind of sink into that shoulder, not something that I would usually cue, but for this pose, it can really help to target the side of the waist. So deep side bend here. And find your regular Sphinx pose. So bend into that elbow, facing the front of your mat, elbows under the shoulders, lift and lengthen up. Think of pushing down into hip bones, pubic bone, tops of the feet, pulling your heart forward. And we'll roll to the other side for side Sphinx to the left. And really go through your options. It's normal for one side to feel different than the other. So maybe you want to keep the elbow down, or you can also straighten the arm and lift yourself up a little more. Melting into it a little bit here, keeping the length through your legs. Bend that left elbow, face the floor again. Instead of finding that Sphinx pose, we're going to widen our hands off the mat, coming up onto the fingertips, little spider cobras. Push into the tops of your feet as you inhale. Lift and lengthen up. Exhale like a wave going back down. 3 more like this. Inhale into your back bend without jamming your lower back. Inhale to lift. And down. Last one. And lower. And let's press back. Just round and contract here. So almost like a child's pose, but stay lifted off of your heels, just to release those back bends. And we'll actually come from here into our downward facing dog. So hands shoulder width distance apart, feet are hip width distance apart, and lift yourself up and back. Any movements and adjustments here that feel good in your down dog. Bending the knees as much as you'd like. Let's find our three-legged dog. So right leg can extend up towards the sky. Bend your right knee, open up your hip, big stretch in here. And we'll step through into our low lunge. So right foot between the hands, back knee comes down to the mat, and lift yourself up for this low lunge. So think of lengthening tailbone down, drawing the lower belly in. And instead of thinking of bringing the hips down, think of pushing them forward and tucking even more. So really getting into quads, into the hip flexors, arms can reach up. And we'll add a side body stretch. Grab a hold of your left arm, left wrist, and reach up and over. So big side bend in here. Let's come all the way back through to center. This time frame the front foot with both hands. You can point through your toes and let the hips melt down towards the mat for this one. So just changing where we're targeting through the front of that left hip. Let's come back the same way we were. So lift yourself back up and we're gonna find a side low lunge. So I'm gonna pivot so that my left toes point towards the long side of my mat. My right knee and toes are still pointing towards the top of the mat. As I bend into my knee, I'm gonna use my right arm to push that knee and thigh open a little bit more, sinking the hips down. So big inner thigh stretch. And let's straighten that leg. Turn the toes in, so foot is parallel to the top of the mat. Side bend again, left arm reaches up and over. And from this gate pose, let's bring that left hand down, right arm reaching up overhead. Counter stretch, reaching out long. Now adding a little bit of a challenge here. Start by bringing that right arm directly up, stacking one shoulder over the other. Point through your right toes and lift that right foot off the mat. Let's add a bind. You're gonna bend into that right knee, catch a hold of the foot, and start to kick the foot into the palm. So there's a back bend here, but we're also really stretching through the front of that right thigh. Getting a little deeper into our hips, also stretching into the shoulders. One more breath. Come out the way you came, so straighten the leg, drop the foot down, use obliques to lift yourself up, and we'll face the top of the mat. Flex that right foot as you find this half splits pose, getting into the hamstrings. A little bend in the knee is perfectly fine here. And from this flex foot, go ahead and now point the toes as much as possible. Bending into our right knee, downward facing dog. Tuck the toes under and step it back. And we'll do that same sequence over on the other side. Left leg rises, bend your left knee, open up that hip. And go ahead and step that foot through between the palms. Back knee comes down to the mat. I'm gonna lift myself up. I like to do this with the back toes curled under. It's not necessary, but think of tucking under, lifting up tall, and then adding the arms, maybe adding your side bend, grabbing a hold of your right wrist with your left hand, and then going up and over. So really trying to get into the belly of the muscle, coming all the way back through to center, frame the front foot. Now this time let your hips melt down. And you can point the toes if that feels a little bit easier. From here into our side low lunge, you can lift yourself up a little bit here. You're going to point or bring that right foot back. So my right shin and calf are parallel to the back of the mat. I'm gonna bend into my left knee and use my left wrist and arm to push my thigh open as I sink the hips down a little bit lower. So it's almost like a warrior two pose, but you have your back knee on the mat. Into our gate pose, straighten the leg, turn those left toes in, right arm reaches up and over. Counter stretch, right hand to the mat, left arm reaches all the way up. And now let's add our bind. So our side bow pose, left arm reaches up, point the left toes, lift that leg up, and see if you can bend and grab a hold of that foot. Kick the foot into the palm, find your back bend. Try to keep your left hip, left knee, left ankle all in the same height, same line. So we're not lifting the foot up higher. We come out the way we came, straightening the leg. Use your abs to lift yourself up and framing that front foot. Find your half splits. Start by flexing that left foot, so curling the toes back. And then pointing the toes, trying to flatten the foot to your mat. Into our downward dog. Bend, plant the palms, and step the left foot back. If you'd like to take a vinyasa here, you can flow forward, plank. We lower down. Cobra in your back bend, and we all meet downward facing dog. Stretching out long. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Same thing again here. Bend your knee, open up your hip. Let's find warrior two. Right foot between the hands, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat. Lifting up, we're going to interlace our hands behind the lower back, roll the shoulders down and away from the ears, and then dive on down. So lifting the knuckles up and over, still keeping a deep, generous bend through that right knee. Let's find our easy twist. So stay low to the mat so that you can bring your left hand down, lift the back heel off the floor, reach your right arm up. Back knee comes down to the mat. Right hand reaches towards the back of the mat, and maybe add a quad stretch as you bend and pull that heel in towards you. Carefully releasing the hold of that foot, we'll transition into pigeon pose. We'll be here for about 10 breaths. So you can toe heel that foot over, getting your right knee somewhere behind that right wrist. Find a little back bend here first, so push into the floor, lift and lengthen, and then lean and reach. So this is one of those poses where sometimes a block or a couch cushion, a pillow, something can help to make the pose a bit more comfortable, especially because we are here for 10 breaths. Try to relax your shoulders and your arms. Minimal tension. Halfway. Can you let yourself get a little bit heavier? Before we go back to downward dog, we're going to find that same back bend again. So push the hands into the mat, lift yourself up, and see if this time maybe you can crawl the fingertips back using only back strength to lift yourself up. And downward facing dog. Tuck the back toes under. Step the right foot back and create space here as you stretch it all out. Setting ourselves up for the second side. Left leg rises. Bend your knee, open up that hip. We come to warrior two, left foot between the palms, back foot parallel to the shorter edge of your mat, lifting up. Let's interlace our hands the more unusual way. The other thumb is on top. Shrug the shoulders back, lift the knuckles up, and then dive to the inside of that left knee and thigh. Still bending quite a bit into my left knee. I'm trying to keep my hips low to the mat, pushing into that back foot. We're coming from here into our easy twist, so stay low to the ground as you just bring that right hand to the mat. Lift the back heel off the floor. Left arm extends up. Lower your back knee to the mat. Left arm reaches back, and you can add your quad stretch, pulling that heel in a little bit closer. Letting go of that foot into our pigeon pose. Toe heel that foot over. Left knee behind your left wrist. Find a back bend first. So lift and look up and stretch out of the lower back as you fold and make your way down. Relax your upper arms a little bit more. Five more breaths here. Instead of going right away to downward dog, we'll find that back bend again. So lift yourself up, walk the fingertips back behind you, lifting up and into our downward dog. This is your last opportunity to take a little vinyasa. Otherwise, you can just skip it and stay in down dog, or you can flow from your plank down to your back bend. And we meet for this last downward facing dog, pressing back through the heels, lifting the tailbone up nice and high, pressing our chest to our thighs. And let's bring the knees down to the floor. You can roll over. We're going to come all the way back down. And see if you can pull your knees in towards your belly again, rocking a little side to side. Massaging your lower back. We'll come into a reclined twist, any variation that you'd like. I'm just going to do my right knee to my chest, left leg will be straight, and I'll cross my right thigh or right knee over the body. With the help of my left hand, just guiding it down, pressing that right shoulder into the mat. One more breath here in this twist. And coming back through to center, we'll twist the other way. This time I'll pull my left knee in, right leg will be straight, and I'll cross my left knee over the body towards the right. Left arm will reach out to the side, keeping that shoulder blade anchored on the floor. One more breath in here. Coming back through to center, find Shavasana, your final resting pose. Take up space with arms and legs, palms facing up towards the sky, eyes are closed. With no effort required. You might still be feeling the remaining effects of these poses. I feel it on my outer hips. You might feel it somewhere else. And let your breath find a natural rhythm that you don't have to force or control or think of. Just a few minutes here in silence, and I'll let you know when it's time to come out. And we'll close our practice together. And you can start to breathe a little bit deeper, bringing some movement back into the body, starting with the extremities, flexing and pointing your feet or rolling the wrists a few times. Might feel good to stretch your arms up overhead, lengthening fingers away from your toes. And we'll turn to one side just so we can come up to take a seat. Take your time to get there. And just sit however is comfortable. Close your eyes. Let's bring our hands together at the heart. Closing by chanting Om together. Let's inhale to chant. Breathe in. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this really stretchy, slow flow with me. I know it felt really good in my body. Hopefully you enjoyed it as well. I have many more of these full body flexibility classes, these slower moving flows. I'll link to some of them down below if you wanted to give them a try. Please subscribe, leave a comment before you go, and hopefully we'll practice again together very soon.